Hey folks, welcome back to the channel, Strobe My Ride. My name is Kerry. We unboxing the Patrol Surface Mount Mini Duo in amber and white. This light is a Class 1 SAE J595 and it's extremely bright. Again, this one here is a Duo amber white. I do also offer it in a quad style light for a bit more money. So this one here, an amber white duo, is going to run you $85 Canadian plus tax. The quad version will run you $105 plus tax Canadian. So let's get into it. Within here, always got to give that a tap. You got some mounting screws there. And then you have the lights. It would help if we took that out the right way. It is 10:20 p.m. and you can tell that I'm not thinking properly. So there's the light there. Again, it does have our logo laser engraved into it. We back this with a no BS warranty. It's got the rubber backing on it. On the back of the light, it has that gore patch, which we've talked about in previous videos. So if the light head gets any sort of moisture inside of it, when you power it on and it heats up, it'll expel the moisture out of that gore patch. Between the back of the rubber backing and the light, you can see there's a bit of a ridge there. So there is enough space for it to expel out. You just don't want to block that patch completely with something on it. In terms of the wiring on this light, you do have 3 modes. So your mode 1 is your red, your mode 2 is your blue, and your mode 3 is your green. So essentially you can have different colors and different flash modes on each one of those 3 modes. They operate independently from one another. Outside of that, you have your ground, and then you're left with your yellow and your white wire. So your yellow wire selects your colors and it also selects your patterns. It's also a communication wire. So if you're hooking up more than one light head, you'll sync all the yellow wires together up to 12 modules. And then your white is your wigwag wire. So if you want your light heads to alternate or to wigwag, you would use that wire there. So in terms of the size on this light, you're looking at about 3.5 inches long. You're looking at about, say about an inch thick. And same thing, about an inch there. Very well built light, aluminum alloy housing. No plastic on this thing other than the lens. It's got a nice diffusion on the front, 3 high power LEDs, 2 surface mount holes. Very well built light. Again, SAE Class 1 light head. So let's go ahead and test these out. All right, so I got 2 of the same light heads here, the Patrol Surface Mount Mini Duo in amber and white. I've connected all my wires together with the exception of the whites. Actually, that's a lie. It looks like the blue came undone, so we'll rehook up the blue. So again, these lights have 3 possible modes, which is nice. 2 of the modes can wigwag back and forth. One mode would be steady on, like a flood, or on off together. So we'll grab our power, hook that up, and our ground. So there's the light heads flashing there together, singular, on, off. What I always like to do before I even bother setting the modes of the colors, just take your yellows to your power, hold it until the lights go on and then turn off. And that just resets that mode. So it resets the colors and it resets the flash pattern. When you get into the quad color headlight with the quad color LED lights, it's a lot easier to just reset it from the get-go. Same thing with the pattern. If you start off by trying to program these and one pattern's off from one other light, then it's going to cause you a bit of a headache. So there it is flashing there. There's different patterns, so just a quick tap will give you your different patterns. So that's how that functions. Now in terms of, I'll get it to a better pattern here, something where it's, I don't particularly like the long, like amber, 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 white, white, white. I just prefer like, you know, quick on and off. So if you wanted these to wigwag, you would take the white wire from one of the light heads. So the white wire from one of the light heads with the yellows connected to both light heads up to 12 units, up to 12 lights. Take the white wire from one of them, put it to power, and then you'll see there they start to alternate. So I'm just going to stick that in the power there for a second. Oh, sorry. Just want to be able to show these to the camera. So there they are, they're alternating. So there's the direct look. These are quite bright. Really good light diffusion pattern on them. So that's your mode 1. And then your mode 2 is your blue. So we'll go ahead and throw power onto that. Now they're sort of doing a slower amber white. Again, if you wanted that to alternate, you would then take your other white wire, which is this one here, put it to power. So it doesn't do it on that pattern. So let's try a different pattern. Get it to something a little quicker here. Okay. Take your white to power. There you go. And now it's alternating. So the previous pattern just wasn't a pattern that it liked to wigwag with. So that's wigwagging there. So again, you can have your red wigwag and then your blue, your secondary mode wigwag. But for your green, your third mode, you can't have that wigwag. Or you could have blue wigwag and green wigwag, but then you couldn't have red wigwag, kind of thing, if that makes any sense. If it doesn't, just reach out and I'll explain it in a bit of a diagram. Now in terms of changing your color, so say you just wanted these to be only amber, you take your yellow and do a triple tap to the power. 1, 2, 3. That did not work. We'll try it again. 1, 2, 3. There we go. They're just flashing amber. Somebody reached out and said, you don't even know how to use your own lights. It's not that. It's these actually have a fail-safe built into them. So by triple tapping, that means that when you get these lights hooked up to your vehicle, if something were to happen and one of your wires touched positive, then a single tap, if that was the color change, then all of a sudden you'd have the lights flashing maybe a color you don't want to, or that's illegal. So by triple tapping it, it just has a bit of a fail-safe built in. In terms of programming, it's a little trickier using the wires against an alligator clip, but some people just set a little momentary switch up to test or to program them. So they're just flashing amber there now. You can touch it again and change your patterns. So again, there's a bazillion different patterns in these lights. Lots to choose from. So then if we go to your mode 3 being your green, and we attach it to power, they're already programmed to a steady flood white, which is probably what I would do anyways. So that's them there. But for instance, if you wanted those maybe flashing white for a particular reason, just take your yellows, again, tap them to your red, and that's a dim, and you can get them flashing there again, however you want. So there's like a single on off, and again, if you wanted your green to be a wigwag, just take your white, put it to power, and they will wigwag. So the important part there is there's only 2 white wires, because you're working with 2 lights. There's 3 modes, so you can only wigwag 2 modes. on a particular light head. Just means your third mode either has to be a solid color or a flash on, off, on, off, on, off together. Anyways, those are the light heads. Sorry for the less lackluster video, but it is late at night. I wanted to get a few more of these videos out before the end of the day. Again, this is the PatrolSM Mini Duo. Great light head, super robust, IP68 rating, fully submersible, over a meter. We froze test these in ice and they performed extremely well. And again, these Duo amber white ones are priced competitively at $85 each, plus tax. These also come in a quad color. So we have amber white, blue, green, and then the amber white, and then I also have some red, blue, amber white as well. So different options there for you to look at. Anyways, go ahead and hit the like button there if you don't mind. Hit the subscribe button so you can see more videos pop up, as we'll be releasing more products and content. And we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks so much. Have a good day. Be safe. Bye-bye.